Hello and welcome to a special edition of the Best Picture Must Be Doing Something Right podcast. I'm here with Jamie.
Hello.
And we are going to be previewing the Academy Awards coming this Sunday, the 25th of April, that will be, which is tomorrow/Monday, depending on where you're living. Because it's obviously overnight, so it's different in this country. We'll have to be staying up very late if we're going to be watching it, which is always the problem, but it's something that we want to get our teeth into. So it's a bit of a different episode to what you're used to from this podcast. I hope you enjoy it, though. This is more centered around our predictions for the upcoming awards.
Yeah, this is the first one that sort of dates itself.
Yeah,
but that's all right. That's no problem. But something a bit different.
Yeah, definitely. See how good or bad I am at this kind of thing.
And I am going to be predicting along with you because I've watched not nearly as much as you have, so I'm going in a bit blind, and I'm going to be filling out this predictions thing as we go along.
Yeah, I've done a bit of prep for this because I have seen all of the Best Picture nominees for this year and a lot of the main contenders that didn't end up getting Best Picture nominations. But it should be interesting to see what happens at these Academy Awards, which are very different to have we've seen in normal years because obviously it's end of April. It's usually done by last year it was done by
February,
January, like start of February, wasn't
January.
it?
Oh yeah.
Well, sometimes they move because of the Winter Olympics, but it wasn't last year. But fortunately, it did get moved this last year because I don't know why, but otherwise I think it would have been cancelled completely. Yeah. So it was a good job that they hosted it when they did. But obviously, it's going to be a very different type of show this year. I know that they banned Zoom and they're not going to have masks or anything, which is a bit ridiculous, to be honest. But such is the Academy's ways, isn't it? I think what they've done.
I'm not going to be watching. I don't.
What they've done essentially is made everyone count as a key worker. Everyone that's attending. So they're allowed to
do it, and
they're having multiple broadcasts, one in LA, one in London. So the people based in this country, obviously with travel restrictions in place, can still attend the events. But it's all ridiculous anyway. They should just do it over Zoom. I know it's not the best to watch, but it's the safest way to do so at this time.
If it's all about the spectacle and the glamour.
Yeah, I think they're scared of they've had a decline in viewing figures for a number of years anyway. But I think that's partly to do with they're messing around with the host situation. They haven't had a specific host in years. So.
And all the hosts are always just really safe and boring, and really the jokes just aren't funny. It's written by a committee, so people can tell.
I didn't mind it for that 1 year. I think they had to ban. Sorry, not ban. Sorry, get rid of Kevin Hart on short notice, and because of the unfortunate tweet that went viral at the time. So they just said we're not going to have a host. That went quite well because they had like Amy Poehler and Tina Fey do the opening monologue.
Yeah, I mean,
instead of making them the host, that was the point. They just binned off that idea going forward. But I'm not too bothered about that kind of stuff. I'm just interested about who's going to win really. And we will start with the main category in Best Picture. The nominees.
Oh, we're doing it that way around. Okay.
Yeah. I want to get into this kind of stuff first so we don't lose any time. Obviously, I don't want to waste everyone's time listening to this, talking about the shorts when they can be done in a couple of minutes. So I want to get into the big ones first. Best Picture. We have nominated this year The Father, Judas and the Black Messiah, Mank, Minari, Nomadland, Promising Young Woman, Sound of Metal, and The Trial of Chicago 7. It seems pretty straightforward this year. I think the most straightforward sort of one.
Nomadland.
Yeah, Nomadland. I think it's the most straightforward one that we've seen probably since The Artist in 2011, I'd say, in terms of a front runner going into the.
That's not what I'm going to pick.
Is it not?
No, we're gonna start off dangerous, Joseph. I'm going to pick Trial of Chicago 7 as a dark horse.
That is a fair shout.
And then the obvious runner-up is Nomadland.
Why do you think The Trial of Chicago 7 is going to win Best Picture?
I'm just following the buzz here. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert. I am following the buzz, and everyone seems to be very confident that if there has to be a Black Horse win, I'm using several different articles all at once. I'm reading to try and decide this. It's looking like Trial of the Chicago 7. And, it's Sorkin. It's safe. It's a pretty safe runner-up.
I think if it's going to win, it would have to go the Argo route, because Argo was a famous example of a film that didn't get nominated for Best Director, but ended up winning Best Picture, which we've also seen in recent years with Green Book as well. That wasn't nominated in Director either, but that won with the combination of having supporting actor and screenplay, while Argo won with winning adapted screenplay and editing, which I think is the route that Trial of Chicago 7 is going to have to go down. If it's going to win Best Picture, it has to win original screenplay and it has to win editing. That was the favourite going into the year for a lot of the time. I think up until like October, November time, it was a standout one, and since then it's sort of been like Nomadland across the board, really.
Yeah.
And obviously it won the BAFTA and the Golden Globe and everything like that. But Trial of Chicago 7, I believe it won SAG Ensemble, which is an important one to get, because if you bear in mind a recent upset, which I think is probably the strongest contender we've ever seen going into an Oscars night for Best Picture, was La La Land. And that won everything apart from it was not nominated for SAG Ensemble. And that is the exact same thing that Nomadland is facing this year. And Moonlight won SAG Ensemble and ended up winning Best Picture. So it's definitely can be done. There's the BAFTA curse as well. A BAFTA Best Picture winner has not won the Academy Award for Best Picture since 2013 with 12 Years a Slave. And it's also the curse of my predictions, where I have not predicted Best Picture right since 2013.
What did you predict last year?
I predicted 1917.
No, I could see the Parasite train coming in.
Everyone switched to Parasite like a day before, but I thought like, no, 1917 has this. It's winning Best Director. It's won the BAFTA. It won the Golden Globe. It's safe. It's going to win it. But yeah, that's the thing. I think this year there's no passionate number 2 alternate pick. Well, Trial of Chicago 7 does have a chance as a Netflix film as well. Being the case with that, I don't think it has the passion behind it.
No, I'd agree with that, but I'm starting off a bit dangerous just for fun.
Yeah,
my
and I've
top
seen
3
yeah
is Trial of the Chicago 7, Nomadland, and Minari. That's how I've put it in on the website.
There is a strong argument for Minari. There's an argument for Promising Young Woman. I think there's even an argument for The Father, but I can't go against Nomadland. I think it's in a good spot, and I'd be very surprised if it did end up losing in this position. We'll move on to director now. What are you predicting for director?
For director, it's just it's the Nomadland train.
Yep.
I think Chloe Zhao has got it, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's the safest of the night, to be honest.
I'm just going to put that in. Why not?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Chloe Zhao has won everything this year. She's won the DGA as well, which is the important one to get. The guilds are so important. And,
I've put Fincher as a second just because,
he's never won before.
Yeah, so it might be a legacy win, and then I've put Lee Isaac Chung as the third, the director.
Yeah, they would all be first time winners, which I think is an important thing to note with this year. I think it's a very good lineup as well. It's the first time we've had 2 women nominated in Best Director, so that's very interesting in itself. It's a very diverse lineup. We've got lots of different nationalities in there and ethnicities, which is great to see.
Yeah.
But I can't look past Chloe Zhao, who would become the second woman nominated winner of Best Director after Catherine Bigelow for the Hurt Locker in 2009. I think that's pretty straightforward. Yeah. Moving on to Best Actor nominee. Oh, sorry. Also, sorry. I just want to say the nominations for director we didn't go through. Thomas Vinterberg for Another Round, David Fincher for Mank, Lee Isaac Chung for Minari, Chloe Zhao from Nomadland, and Emerald Fennell for Promising Young Woman.
I've put the Another Round director dead last, I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think so. Do you want to do actress now?
We'll do actress, yeah.
This is the difficult one. It's literally flip a coin.
Viola Davis. Which 2 for you?
Any of them. Genuinely, I think any of
all right,
4.
When you said flip a coin, I thought you meant...
No, genuinely, you can flip like 2 coins at the same time, and you're not going to get a definitive answer. Yeah, the nominations this year are Viola Davis for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Andra Day for The United States vs. Billie Holiday, Vanessa Kirby for Pieces of a Woman, Frances McDormand for Nomadland, and Carey Mulligan for Promising Young Woman. Now, what's interesting about this race is Viola Davis won the Screen Actors Guild Award for Best Actress. Andra Day won the Golden Globe. Frances McDormand won the BAFTA, and Carey Mulligan won the Critics' Choice, and last night also won the Independent Spirit Awards. It might have been Thursday, actually, sorry. But point still stands. She's in a strong position as well. To be honest, I'm thinking purely, you know what you're saying about Nomadland Train with director?
Yeah.
I think Frances McDormand.
I disagree, but not because I actually think you're wrong. I think that
I don't think
probably will happen.
I think unless you say Vanessa Kirby, I don't think you're wrong.
I'm putting a lot of the sources I'm using. Here's what's interesting: has put Viola Davis.
Yeah.
But I don't know how strong her odds actually are. So I'm going to put it as kind of, because I quite like Viola Davis, I'm going to put it as kind of a hopeful guess, but it might not happen. I put Vanessa Kirby second and Frances McDormand third. I don't think that's too outrageous.
I think Vanessa Kirby's dead last. Pieces of a Woman is not a film that I like. It's a film that I haven't seen because of the subject matter. And I've heard a lot of people say it's very, very grim. And
sometimes
I don't think people
the Oscars do latch onto that.
I don't think people will be tuning in. So I think it's down to 3. I'm not sure about Andra Day. Again, I think for the same reason. I don't think many people will be watching United States versus Billie Holiday, but I can see it picking up a similar kind of win to Renee Zellweger last year for Judy, which was a similar kind of film, similar kind of performance. I think it's between 3: Viola Davis, Frances McDormand, and Carey Mulligan. Carey Mulligan seems to me like a sort of a Twitter thing. I can see her winning, and she is the bookies' favourites at the moment, but I think it might be a bit hopeful.
You've convinced me. I've put Frances McDormand second, and Vanessa Kirby's gone down to bottom. Because you're right, I don't think a lot of people in the Academy would have actually watched Pieces of a Woman.
Yeah.
And that's something you have to consider with these things, which is kind of weird to think about, but that's just how it works.
My argument against Viola Davis is I think she's only really won the SAG this year. That was it. Obviously, SAG is the most important precursor to get because it's voted by the Actors Guild, who are also voters for the Oscars, right? So it is an important one to get. However, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom did not get nominated for Best Picture, even though a lot of people thought it would. It very much underperformed on nomination day, also not getting into screenplay either. It was never really in the conversation for director. And I think she's not in the film enough. She's in about, I'd say about 30%.
It might be a scene stealer win though, like Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, it's a difficult one because obviously, but the thing is with Anthony Hopkins with Silence of the Lambs, it was a case where that film was sweeping, so it was picking up everything else. It was winning actress, screenplay, director, picture, which is where my argument for Frances McDormand comes in, where I say, they love Nomadland. It's going to win director. I think it's going to win picture. And with that, there's no way you cannot have Nomadland is your number 1 film of the year and not love Frances McDormand's performance. It's probably my favourite performance of this category. It's not my favourite film of these. Promising Young Woman is an incredible film, and that's probably my choice as favourite film with this. But I think Frances McDormand is so brilliant in Nomadland. The difficulty I'm having with being secure with it is it's the idea that it would be a 3rd Oscar, especially in actress, which is incredibly rare. Only 3 women have ever done that before in history. I think it's Ingrid Bergman, what's her name? Meryl Streep, obviously, and Katharine Hepburn. And I think Hepburn's the only one that's won 3 in actress as well. It'd be incredibly rare.
I do think Frances McDormand could pull it off, though.
If
someone else is going to do it.
I love her performance in Nomadland because it's so subtle. That's also the difficulty. Do they want the big acting performance like you have with Viola Davis in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, or do you want the more subtle performance with Frances McDormand in Nomadland? Honestly, it could be anything. You could pick anything here, and I wouldn't disagree massively with you, apart from Vanessa Kirby, really, because there's no sort of basis for that. But then again, with everyone discounting it, that sort of like sometimes can come straight through. I'm thinking Adrian Brody's win for The Pianist. Obviously, that was a different example because that was one where it was doing quite well in other categories. Yeah. But honestly, you can pick anything in actress, and I wouldn't disagree. It's a very difficult one to call this year.
Unlike Best Actor, which I have.
No. I think this is more difficult than people think.
Well, what I've done, Joseph, is I've pretty much just followed the odds exactly for my predictions. My ranking.
Yeah.
It's really not exciting at all.
Yeah.
Do you want to move on to it?
Yeah. So the nominations for Best Actor this year are Riz Ahmed for Sound of Metal, Chadwick Boseman for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Anthony Hopkins for The Father, Gary Oldman for Mank, and Stephen Yeun for Minari. Right. So you know these things. Have you heard of the honest Oscar ballots that go around, where
No.
they interview Oscar voters
Oh
to
wait,
tell
no,
them
you
about
have
their
told me.
ballots?
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, what's been happening is there's been a lot of those interviews going around recently where people have been saying Chadwick Boseman's going to win, but I'm voting for Anthony Hopkins. And that becomes so dangerous.
Interesting. Yeah.
You can't always assume someone's going to win and then end up picking up votes elsewhere. There's a genuine, whenever there's an upset, there's always got to be one like genuine contender on the tail.
Yeah.
And Anthony Hopkins is so good in The Father, and I think it's a very difficult one to call because they obviously prefer The Father to Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Chadwick Boseman's the only nominee here who's not in a Best Picture nominee, so I don't know whether that has any say in it.
There's a lot of talk about how it should have been a Best Picture nominee. I don't know if that counts for anything.
It should have done. They're both incredible in their films. It's a very difficult one to call. It's very hard to make the argument about Chadwick Boseman being about, because he died, this is why you give it to him. It has to be on genuine basis of performance.
Well, it sounds cynical, but Heath Ledger also got the posthumous Best Supporting Actor, and that was definitely deserved.
Yeah, but he swept the field that year. There was no genuine other contender. Anthony Hopkins would win in any other year because he's that good in The Father. Like, his performance is genuinely incredible. And because he's such a well-known, well-acclaimed actor in his 80s, putting in that level of performance. He is my second choice,
yeah.
It's a very difficult one to call. He's very much liked in the industry. And obviously the disadvantage that Chadwick Boseman has, like, he hasn't been able to campaign because he's no longer with us.
Yeah.
It's a very sensitive issue, really. And I think the later the season's gone on, the people think less feeling like, we've got to give it as a tribute to his life. It's like
it could count as a career nod as well. That just makes me more convinced that that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm just about predicting him still.
Do you know guess who's dead last?
Gary Oldman.
It's not happening again. I love Gary Oldman, but they gave him his Oscar.
He shouldn't be nominated.
It's not happening again.
He shouldn't have been nominated. It should have been Delroy Lindo for The Five Bloods. Or even Kingsley Ben-Adir for One Night in Miami. They're both better performances. Stephen Yeun and Riz Ahmed, really happy for them to get nominated for this year. Their first nominations, but they're not going to win. It's between Boseman and Hopkins. I'm just about going Boseman now.
Yeah, I went Boseman.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to supporting actress, which was looking.
I'm not too sure about.
This was looking difficult, but it's become clearer in recent weeks. The nominations for supporting actress are Maria Bakalova for Borat's subsequent movie film, Glenn Close for Hillbilly Elegy, Olivia Colman for The Father, Amanda Seyfried for Mank, and Yoon Ye-jung for Minari. I was nervous about pronouncing that, but I think I just about got it right. I think Yoon Ye-jung has come out as the standout. I think the SAG win was important, but I think the BAFTA is even more important because of two reasons. Number one, a lot of people didn't get nominated for BAFTAs this year because of the voting changing. So Seyfried, Coleman, and Close all didn't get nominated this year in supporting actress. Yoon Ye-jung managed to end up winning the thing, and the second reason was her acceptance speech was lovely. She's a character actress. She didn't expect this kind of accolade, and for me, I think she gives the best performance of any of them as well. I think her performance is genuinely incredible, and that is a film that a lot of people love, and it would be a great place to award the film because her performance adds so much to the film in a way that you don't normally see this kind of supporting performance win, but I think it has great impact on the film as sort of like a side plot rather than it's being its central focus. The thing that annoys me about supporting recent years is the amount of category fraud where you have like the partner of the lead character, or
yes,
someone that's massively involved.
They don't
in
bother
the
to try
narrative.
and actually define it in a way that makes it fair each year.
Yoon Ye-jung is definitively supporting in Minari, playing the grandmother of the young boy played by Alan Kim. So I think it would be a great place to award the film. It's the standout for me. Obviously, the difficulty is that she isn't well known. She hasn't been able to go do all the things that would make more endearing, like the campaign trail and stuff. So they might not know her. But it's the strength of the performance for me.
I've gone, just to pick someone different. I've gone more of a contrarian route. Even I've put her as a runner up because I do think it's very likely.
That's fair.
But I have kind of another dark horse, although I wouldn't be that surprised. And I put Maria Bakalova.
Yeah, that's
top choice, because if it's going to be a case of, like you were saying earlier, with I think they're going to win, but I'm voting this person, I think that could happen with Maria Bakalova.
Yeah, I think with Borat getting also nominated in adapted screenplay is more of a reasoning for them to watch the film. She is absolutely fantastic in the film, but it's not a definitive Oscars performance, especially not a winning performance, which will be my difficulty. And again, she is a new actress. Not many people would have worked with her before, so you don't have that kind of goodwill.
That clout.
Yeah. She has done very well across the season. I think the reason, she's been nominated for everything, and the fact that she's here is an achievement, a massive achievement in itself. So I hope she does have a really good film career, but I think this is Yoon Ye-jung's for the taking.
I want to get this on record. I would not be at all surprised if Olivia Colman steals it.
Maybe.
I would not. I put her as third because I would not be surprised at all.
Maybe. If she hadn't have won a few years ago.
She has the clout that the top two contenders don't.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes that actually does just steal it. So I've put her as third. I might regret not putting her as first. If she wins, I'm going to be kicking myself.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to supporting actor. Nominated this year are Sacha Baron Cohen for The Trial of Chicago 7, Daniel Kaluuya for Judas and the Black Messiah, Leslie Odom Jr. for One Night in Miami, Paul Raci for Sound of Metal, and Lakeith Stanfield in Judas and the Black Messiah, which absolutely stinks of category fraud.
It's the splitting the votes thing which is stopping me, because I can't in good confidence put someone to win who has a direct competitor from the same film.
My answer to that, Sam Rockwell for 3 Billboards.
I'm not saying it can't happen. It just makes me nervous.
But it literally happened a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that's the exception, not the rule. Yeah. But I am going to put Daniel Kaluuya at the top, because everyone the hype train just will not. Yeah, exactly. It's going to happen.
It's an incredible performance as well. It's a definite standout of these nominees. But obviously, it is the first time he's come up against Lakeith Stanfield, who is also brilliant in Judas and the Black Messiah. But the thing is, he shouldn't be in this category because he's the lead. But what I've heard is the reason he got so many votes in supporting actor is because people thought that Kaluuya was the lead, so they put Kaluuya in lead and then Stanfield in supporting.
This is the only time in history Lakeith Stanfield will be at the bottom of my predictions ranking, simply because of if it's going to be one of them, it's going to be Kaluuya, and that's pushed him all the way to the bottom. This is the only scenario in which this would happen.
Yeah. I think the spoiler here, if there is one, would be Paul Raci, The Sound of Metal.
I don't think Sound of Metal has. You've been paying a lot more closer attention, but I'm just from what I'm reading, it doesn't have hype, actual awards hype anywhere.
I think it's done well throughout the season, though.
It hasn't bombed. I mean, I'm not seeing a lot. It's done
gradually quite well. It will appear in my predictions in a couple of categories coming up. But I feel like there's a reason why Paul Raci is here. He's not a well-known actor. He's very much a character actor. He hasn't done major film roles before, but he has passion for his performance. Word of mouth has got him this nomination because people keep on saying how good Paul Raci is in this film, and he is brilliant in the film. Whether it's a bit subtle, I'm not too sure. Again, it's a question of have enough actors worked with him to sort of like push him up. Not enough for me, so I'm going with Kaluuya.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Moving on to, should we go to screenplays now?
Adapted, yeah.
Do you want to go adapted first? Okay, adapted screenplay nominees are Borat's subsequent movie film, The Father, Nomadland, One Night in Miami, and The White Tiger.
The White Tiger. I'm not really familiar with that. I don't.
Oh, it's one of those Indian films. It's on Netflix, I believe.
It
was quite a surprising nominations at the time. There's always one film only nominated for screenplay every year, and this year it was The White Tiger. Fair play to him.
Probably not going to win.
I did think it was going to be Nomadland, but I've switched recently, and I'm going with The Father.
I've gone with Nomadland. I think, even though I didn't put it as best picture, I can see it winning the big five. I mean, well, you know what? I can see
it can't win actor, obviously.
Yeah, no, but yeah. I can see it winning as much as it can in the big five. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's fair.
I've put Borat last. I don't think that's. I don't think that can. I just don't think people are going to vote for it for best adapted screenplay.
No.
I'm a bit confused why it's there actually.
Oh, Borat.
Yeah.
Well, the first one was nominated for adapted screenplay as well.
Is it because it's based off a previous character? It goes into adapted screenplay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's harsh.
Shrek was also nominated in adapted screenplay, by the way, 2001.
Is that because it's based on a bunch? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot that.
The adapted rules are ridiculous, though. They had Whiplash in adapted a couple of years ago because it was based off a short film by Damien Chazelle, but the short film is just a scene from Whiplash. So it's sort of like it's not adapted from that. It's just because he could only afford to film one scene. So that was what it was based on. Anyway, we're going off topic. I switched to The Father because it's more of a screenplay film. Nomadland isn't relying on screenplay as much. I think it's more about its visual style, which is so impressive. And it's more of a directorial achievement, while I feel like The Father is a real writing achievement, very heavily dialogue-based, and has to rely on that strong script to overcome the limitations that it has with the way that it looks aesthetically. So I'm going to go with The Father. I also won the BAFTA, so I think will be a good choice.
I'm going to go with Nomadland, just because I'm just playing the odds on this one, because I'm not too sure.
Original screenplay. I think this is a very strong category this year. Judas and the Black Messiah, Minari, Promising Young Woman, Sound of Metal, Trial of Chicago 7. I'm predicting Promising Young Woman.
I'm predicting Trial of the Chicago 7, but Promising Young Woman is a very good second.
I think Promising Young Woman is a really good place to award this film, especially as it's Emerald Fennell nominated here as well. So it's a good place to reward her for her achievements with this film, which is immense. Like, it's incredible for a first feature. It's remarkable. But honestly, like, I think Sound of Metal has a chance. I do think Minari has a chance.
I think they're all good.
I think they're all strong contenders because they're all nominated for Best Picture as well. So it's clear the Academy likes them all. There's no definite dead last here. I just feel like Promising Young Woman is the more standout original screenplay. I think Trial of Chicago 7 is very much it's a difficult one because it's a very written film, if you get what I mean. It's not that creative. It's just going through the facts. It is structured in a very specific way. I feel like
what's that Trial of Chicago 7?
Yeah, I feel like Sorkin is obviously a remarkable screenwriter, but I don't feel like the film is creative enough to win this category. Where you often see the more creative films stand out, like films like Her and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind have been recent winners, or not recent winners, but past winners in this category. So you often have the more outsider choices, and even last year with Parasite winning here, I remember switching to that late on from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood because of it being the more creative film.
It's the shock of it as well. Yeah, you're winning me around a bit, to be honest with you, because the twists and turns of it is also what people think of when they're thinking of screenplays. When you have to, when it comes down to it, when you have to vote.
Yeah, that's definitely the case with Promising Young Woman. It's more of a standout one with the narrative changes that it makes. It switches genre like 3 or 4 times in film. It's remarkable. While Trial of Chicago 7 is obviously your historical based film, it's very restrictive in the things that it can do. Obviously, it's very creative and well written because of the switching between, the flashbacks and stuff. But I'm going Promising Young Woman.
I've gone with I'm sticking with Trial of Chicago 7, but yeah, I think you're onto something there.
What do you want to do next?
Cinematography is
Okay,
next
yeah,
up
that's fine.
for my thing.
Yeah, let me find it. Yeah, cinematography. Here we go.
I've gone
Judas.
with Mank.
Okay.
Oh, do you want to read them out?
Yeah,
Sorry?
yeah.
Yeah.
Nominations are Judas and the Black Messiah, Mank, News of the World, Nomadland, and Trial of Chicago 7. So why are you going with Mank?
I'm just like being a
Going with the odds.
copycat here and going off of predictions because I haven't seen enough of them. Because not to state the obvious, but and you can quote me on this, cinematography is a very visual category.
Yeah.
So without actually seeing enough of them, I'm not comfortable enough making like just a gut prediction off of this.
And this is exactly why the advantage comes of actually seeing the films, isn't it?
Yeah,
because
that's what they say.
yeah, that's why I'm going with Nomadland, because the
That's my
cinematography
second.
is incredible. I know a lot of people have been very restrictive of it and saying that, oh, it's just shots of sunsets. It's not that impressive, but it's what the cinematographer does with it. Joshua James Richards does an incredible job with that film. With Mank, I'm not a fan of the film. I think straight off, the black and white cinematography, it works because it's because it's shot in a way that as it would in the 1940s. But for me, it didn't. It made it less interesting.
It
For
might
me.
just be enough of a gimmick to hook enough
Yeah, but
voters though.
they've had enough black and white winners in recent years, haven't they? With Roma and The Artist
Yeah,
winning in cinematography.
that's a good way
Did
of
The
looking
Artist
at
win
it.
cinematography? Can't remember. Anyway, but Roma is a prime example anyway. I feel like Nomadland does more creative things with its cinematography, and it's obviously the standout film of the year in the other categories as well. So I'm going with Nomadland.
Very good. Yeah.
What do you? Oh, what do we have?
Costume.
Production? Is it costumes? Yeah,
It's up to you. What do you want to do?
no, costumes is fine.
Costume. All right.
Just the page was freezing. Costume design.
Ooh,
Nominees are Emma, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Mank, Mulan, and Pinocchio. I'm gonna go.
surprisingly difficult.
Yeah,
What are you going with?
I'm gonna go with Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
I might actually go with that. That's what I'm saying. That's
Yeah.
definitely Emma's a really good. Yeah, as basically the odds are pretty much are going to be spot on.
The thing is, I don't think people will be watching Emma, Mulan, or Pinocchio. So I think it's between the other two. The disadvantage of being in black and white comes, I think, in costume design.
Yeah,
You
I've
don't
put
get to
that
see the
quite
colours
low.
of it. So I feel like by default, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, it has the period costumes, it has the very grand kind of looks of Viola Davis in these sort of big dresses, which is incredibly creative, and obviously with the sort of attire that Chadwick Boseman wears is wonderful. So I'm going to go with Ma Rainey.
Yeah, same.
Let's move on to editing.
Yep.
Film editing. Where are we? There we go. The Father, Nomadland, Promising Young Woman, Sound of Metal, Trial of Chicago 7. For me,
Sound of Metal, right?
I'm going to go Sound of Metal.
Yeah,
Sound of
Sound of
Metal, yeah.
Metal. Then I'm going Nomadland.
It's the one that sort of like has become the standout of the year. A lot of people comparing it to how Whiplash won editing. I do think the films are very different for obvious reasons, but I feel like they have a very similar kind of editing style, which makes it stand out from the others. So I feel like that has the advantage there. Obviously, with this use of the sound as well, which is what we'll come on to in a later category as well. People did think Trial of Chicago 7 could win it, and it definitely has a chance because of the way that it uses flashbacks. But I feel like Sound of Metal wins here. Let's go on to getting through these now. Best makeup and hairstyling.
Yep, hold on.
Which is, where is it? There we go.
Do you want me to read them out? Have you got
it's
it?
fine. I've got them. Emma, Hillbilly Elegy, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Mank, and Pinocchio. Once again, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom for me.
Yeah, I've gone Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Emma, Mank, Hillbilly Elegy, then Pinocchio, because I don't think anyone has seen Pinocchio.
Yeah, it's the same with Emma as well. Hillbilly Elegy is like, it's such a terrible film.
Emma's cropping up enough, and it did have some good reviews at the time. That I think enough people. It's a decent chance. Like
it came out such a long time ago, though.
Just more time to see it.
Yeah. Mank maybe, but no, I don't think the makeup's that impressive. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. It's not. You know, your regular sort of winner in this category. It's not like a Mad Max Fury Road or a Grand Budapest Hotel, which is sort of like the bigger, more prosthetic kind of makeup. But it does well with what it.
Here's what's
what it
making me
does.
nervous. I can see a world where Mank sweeps all these technical and production categories. I
Yeah,
can see that happening.
potentially. I don't feel like it has that kind of style to it. Like a prime example of a film that it's not a film like literally the examples I've just used, Grand Budapest Hotel and Mad Max Fury Road, were examples of films that swept the kind of production based categories. They're not. Mank's not a similar film to that. Those kind of things. They're not. You don't look at Mank and say, "Oh wow, what a brilliant achievement that is in style and technology and everything like that," because it's done in such a specific old-fashioned way, which makes it a hard argument. There's definitely a case though, because obviously it's the most nominated film this year. Got to win something, right? But which we'll get onto as we go into production design, where I am predicting Mank.
I'm predicted Ma Rainey's Black Bottom as the winner of that, and Mank is second.
Yeah, the other nominees are The Father, News of the World, and Tenet.
I put Tenet third.
There is the argument for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, but I don't feel like it can win 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 5 when it doesn't have Best Picture nomination.
I'm really playing these predictions as something. It might be the year for surprises and just to break the mold a bit.
Definitely.
Because it could happen just without how much of a weird year it's been.
Yeah, honestly, like people think they have a good idea about predicting the Oscars, but it's so rare to ever see anyone go 24 for 24, or in this case this year 23 for 23. It's like people, you can stress over these as much as you want every single year. I will guarantee you, if you predict the Oscars every single year, you will never ever get every single one right. There's no way of being spot on all the time. So sometimes you do have to go a bit left field to try and get stuff. But my issue is I never go particularly too left field because you don't want to miss the easy ones, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no,
because then
you
look like an idiot. Yeah. But then again, if you just go with the safe ones, like, I predicted that right. Yeah, okay. Well, you and everyone else, it doesn't make a difference. You can't really brag about that. Shall we move on? I think on
score.
Score, yeah.
I'm looking at this website that's saying that Tenet should have been nominated.
I do one.
And now I'm just regretting everything I've looked at on the website.
Yeah.
Because that just throws everything into question. Because no, it did not.
Nominees are The Five Bloods, Mank, Minari, News of the World, and Soul. Even though Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross are nominated twice here, I'm still going to go with them and go with Soul. Yeah. Soul is the standout score of the year. I don't know who looked at The Five Bloods and thought, oh, that score's really good, but nothing else is any good. I don't know why that's a low nomination here. Should have been in Best Actor. I won't let that go. There are some good choices, but Soul is the standout because of, especially as it's a film about music as well, makes it extra brilliant. And obviously, Reznor and Ross are the GOATs, so it would be nice to see them win another Oscar. Best song.
Speak Now is the hype that I'm seeing all over the place.
Yeah, that's what I've switched to today. The nominees are Fight for You from Judas and Black Messiah, Hear My Voice from Charlie Chicago 7, Husavik from Eurovision Song Contest, The Story of Fire Saga, IOC Scene from The Life Ahead, and Speak Now from One Night in Miami. I think it'd be a good place to reward One Night in Miami. Speak Now, especially as it holds such importance in the context of the film.
Yeah.
The songs that Leslie Odom Jr. sings, both in the scene where all the background music gets rid of, and he has to do this sort of like solo a cappella scene is very impressive, and also the scene towards the end where he's performing a song on Johnny Carson's show. With those kind of scenes have such importance, especially to the character that Leslie Odom Jr. plays, and because he's also one of the nominees here, it's a good place to reward him here instead of in supporting actor. It's a good place to reward the film as well, which isn't going to win anywhere else. So I think I'll go Speak Now.
Yeah, I think that's straightforward enough.
Best sound. Do we need to even guess this? We've got go with. Sorry, the nominations are Greyhound, Mank, News of the World, Soul, and Sound of Metal. I think straightforward. Sound of Metal, definitely. Yeah, there's literally a film about sound, and it does so many brilliant creative things with the sound in the film as well.
This is one of the ones you don't want to be contrarian with. You really just got to take the easy, correct prediction here.
Yeah. This is obviously the first year of the combination of mixing and editing as well. I think Sound of Metal would have won in both places anyway, but as it's combined, I think it's even greater argument for Sound of Metal being the film here. Visual effects, probably the weakest year we've ever had for visual effects because everything's been binned off, haven't they? We've got Love and Monsters, The Midnight Sky, Mulan, The One and Only Ivan, and Tenet. Probably got
Tenet. What a boring one, yeah.
I've seen whispers around The Midnight Sky, but I'm sticking with Tenet. Nolan films tend to do quite well in visual effects. I know Interstellar won and Inception won in visual effects, didn't they? So
yeah.
So
the only place the Academy seems to like him, to be honest.
Yeah. Moving on to animated feature, which again,
Shaun the Sheep.
Yeah, probably not.
The only winner.
Yeah. The nominations here are Onward, Over the Moon, a Shaun the Sheep movie, Farmageddon, Soul, and Wolf Walkers. Yeah, it's got to be Soul.
If Soul doesn't win, I will be baffled. But for the fun of it, I did put Shaun the Sheep as my runner-up.
Yeah, might as well because none of these are going to win anyway. Wolf Walkers is probably the alternate choice here because they do seem to like Tom Moore a lot. They've nominated a lot of his films before in this category, but obviously never won. So it could be a place to wonder if like the Pixar 2 split or something like Onward and Soul, but they haven't so far, so there's no real precedent for that. So I'm sticking with Soul. Moving on to documentary feature. I only got a few left now. Documentary feature. This is a very difficult one to call.
Yeah,
very difficult.
I'm not familiar. I'm not sure.
We've got nominated Collective, Crip Camp, The Mole Agent, My Octopus Teacher, and Time. It's a difficult one.
People seem very confident about My Octopus Teacher, but
yeah, it won the BAFTA and it's on Netflix.
This is one of the ones I'm going to take a risk on. Well, not too much of a risk, just for the fun of being contrarian. I've seen a lot of hype for Time and Crip Camp.
Yeah.
Time. So I might go Crip Camp.
I'm going with Time.
You're going with Time?
I was going to watch it last week, which was during Oscars voting. They made it free on YouTube, so a lot of people would have seen it then. It's on Amazon Prime as well. They're pushing it quite hard. I've heard incredible things. I remember when my personal choice for this would have been Dick Johnson Is Dead, which was not nominated here. It was in the long list, but it didn't get nominated. And I think as soon as it wasn't nominated, it was a very strong contender here to actually win, but it ended up not getting nominated. And as soon as that was announced, not nominated, everyone kept saying, you know that scene from Spotlight with Mark Ruffalo? It's time, Robbie, it's time. Everyone was saying that for what was going to win documentary feature. So My Octopus Teacher's been winning stuff, but I think I'm going to go with Time.
The odds for My Octopus Teacher are great, but slightly contrarian. I'll switch to Time because I think your logic for it is very, very reasonable. I haven't heard
anyone talk about Crip Camp.
I've just seen a lot of people saying, "Oh, this might win."
Oh, it's another Obama film. That's probably why. Because American Factory won last year, didn't it? Another Obama film.
Yeah. So that's why people are putting it as their very possible maybe runner-up.
Yeah. It's going to be an upset there because those two might split. Let's go on to international film, which I think again seems pretty straightforward after
another round.
Yeah, after Best Director, it got another round. Better Days Collective, The Man Who Sold His Skin, and Quo Vadis Aida. I think it will be another round just because Vinterberg got that Best Director nomination. You often see that actually foreign films nominated in Best Director, even if they're not in picture. So there was the case with Cold War and Driving Bell and Butterfly, a couple of examples of that happening. So it wasn't too much of a shocker, but I think it makes it a strong case. The fact that it won the BAFTA over Minari which obviously isn't eligible here as it is an American film, but because the BAFTA is for
Yeah.
foreign language film.
I don't know if you could go in looking stronger than
Yeah.
that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, the fact that it beat Minari just tells you everything. If it was going to be an upset, possibly Quo Vadis Ada, I've heard very good things about that. People coming to that late and saying this is really brilliant. So I wouldn't be surprised too much if that won, but I'm going with another round. And now onto the 3 short categories: animated, documentary, and live action.
Blast through this, I think.
Right, yeah. I have a theory about the shorts. These are the make or break if you're actually having a prediction contest. This is the make or break, because like you might have the same sort of predictions elsewhere where you can make logical guesses. With these, a lot of people haven't seen any of them, so you just got to guess. So let's start with animated short. Nominated this year are Burrow, Genius Loki, don't know how to pronounce that, If Anything Happens, I Love You, Opera, and Yes People. Normally, I would go with Burrow here because the logic is if it's an animated short with animals in it, then you should go with it. However, If Anything Happens, I Love You is the film that's been pushed a lot by Netflix.
Seeing that, yeah.
And that's been a film that was talked about a lot even before award season as being so incredible and so impressive. I was going to watch it before the show, but I thought like, nah, that's going to depress me too much. It's going to be going to put me in a bad mood for the show. So I didn't end up watching it, but I will watch it before the ceremony. But I'm going to go with that. If Anything Happens, I Love You.
I've put Burrow as my runner-up, so
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we're on the same page with that one.
Documentary short. This is one that I've switched to today.
I'll be interested in hearing that.
Documentary short. Let me find the list. Sorry. Colette, A Concerto is a Conversation, Do Not Split, Hunger Ward, and A Love Song for Latasha. I did go with A Love Song for Latasha because it was Netflix, but I've just switched to A Concerto.
Yeah, I'm with you completely.
Because the logic here, if it's got music in, it's more than likely going to win documentary short. That's my logic. Yeah. And because it's a music-based film, I'm going to go with that. And brings us to our final category, live action short. We have nominated Feeling Through, The Letter Room, The Present, Two Distant Strangers, and White Eye. I know a lot of people are saying Two Distant Strangers is going to be the one, but I'm going with The Letter Room just because it's got Oscar Isaac in it.
I am thinking the exact same thing because
if it's got a movie star, it's got to be more likely to be watched, surely.
I mean, the Academy will just go with what they know, and everyone in the Academy in Hollywood loves Oscar Isaac, so
that's the logical choice, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that wraps it up for today. Any final thoughts? Do you think this is going to be a much watched ceremony
as we're going, I don't know about the viewership, but as we're going through it, it seems kind of straightforward, but in the sense that almost too, like, I don't want to get too comfortable with it. Like, it seems too straightforward. I think there can be a lot of surprises, and that's what I've kind of tried to guess around. Yeah. Where is the surprises going to come from?
Well, I hope so anyway. It would be no good for the predictions, but we want different things happening. We don't want the Oscars to be predictable every year because what's the fun in that?
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for coming on.
Oh, my pleasure.
It's all right. If you want to hear more episodes of the show like this, then let me know, because this isn't what we normally do. So let me know. You can send me a DM on Twitter, bestpicture_pod, and make sure to follow on there as well to find out upcoming episodes. We're back to normally scheduled shows next week with more films being reviewed. That's what we do. Also now streaming on SoundCloud, so drop us a follow over there. Make sure to subscribe on Spotify. Follow on Spotify and subscribe on YouTube, where you'll find all the previous episodes thus far. I'm working hard on trying to get on some more platforms as well, so hopefully that will happen in the coming days. And I think after all, that's pretty much us done. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you for another episode sometime soon.